Sony's engineering chops are really showing this year across its phones, tablets and convertibles portfolio. This is Daniel from Phone Arena presenting you the Vaio Top 11, just the next in the line of slim, sexy looking devices Sony churns out. And as far as Windows tablets go, it can brag with the thinnest title too. Despite the record for a full-size Windows tablet, 0.39 inches, 10mm thickness, the Top 11 manages to pack a Haswell processor line, 11-inch 1080p display and plenty of storage. It also comes with an active pen stylus and a completely detached keyboard that snaps on magnetically to serve as a screen cover and charges from the tablet itself then. Surprisingly enough, given the specs and the fact that it runs full-featured Windows 8, not the RT version, Sony managed to keep the Top 11 pricing competitive, starting at $799. If it sounds too good to be true, there's the inevitable catch, as this slim body fits a smaller battery, unfortunately, and the Top 11 battery life is half of an iOS or Android Slate, for example. Will this turn out to be just an inconvenience compared to the tablet's other virtues? Let's see. Sony's creation here is one of the prettiest Windows tablets out there, period, and not only because it is so slim and comes at just 1.7 pounds, 770 grams. Sony has dressed the soft feel magnesium alloy slate in white. There's a black version as well and has included a kickstand like this one here to prop when using the tablet as a laptop, for example, as the keyboard is not attached to it with hinges or dock connector. We can't say we dig this unhinged concept with anything larger than 10 inches, as the screen part becomes somewhat uncomfortable to hold while watching videos on a long flight, for example. Sony's execution with a thin kickstand doesn't help in that respect too, though it is pretty good for desk work, like that. When we saw the relatively thin kickstand here initially, we had qualms about its rigidity, but the weight is very well balanced and the tablet doesn't wobble even when you poke at the touchscreen. Moreover, it allows you to adjust the screen at any angle in an 85-degree range, like that, unlike the Microsoft Surface line, which only allows you two positions. You still have to keep prodding at the back and adjust the kickstand each time you need a simple screen tilt, unlike a laptop where you simply push back or pull forward the screen part. The tablet and keyboard only come together when the keyboard plops down on the screen, attaching itself with magnets as a protective cover, and only a small connector at the top of the keyboard here goes into the tablet part for charging. You can tell a real Windows tablet from the bevy of ports and slots around it, and the Top 11 doesn't disappoint here. Since the goal was obviously been to make a standalone slate, the screen part houses all the ports and slots, and the keyboard only serves for typing and screen protection. You get a full-size USB 3.0 port right here, alongside micro HDMI 1 under this protective lid on the left, as well as a SIM card and micro SD slots here at the top, again with a protective flap, and next is a Sony Assist key that enters the BIOS and troubleshooting mode. This USB port here has a sleep charge regime, so you can top off your electronics from it even when the tablet is not active. The power lock key and the volume rocker here on the right are pretty easy to feel and press with nice clicky tactile feedback. The circular metallic key is done in the omnibalance design tradition of recent Xperia phones and tablets, immediately implying this tablet is a Sony regardless of the operating system. We get a physical home key here with the Windows logo, which is a bit too recessed and hard to easily press, with shallow tactile feedback. The keyboard is rather thin in its turn, with brushed aluminum looks on the back. It snaps magnetically onto the display as we showed you, serving as a screen protector. The keys are recessed, so you needn't worry they'll scratch the panel, and there's a nice touchpad in the middle of the palm rest here, with clicky one-piece mouse keys underneath. The touchpad dots are slightly elevated to mark the touchpad's existence, but otherwise it's patterned in the palm rest color, giving the keyboard an uninterrupted look. The Bluetooth keyboard is just 4.5mm thick, so even when it's tacked on, the Vaio Top 11 is still thinner than an Ultrabook, for example. Decked up in this white with aluminum back, it looks rather nice with the chiclet buttons, and despite the thin frame we get pretty decent 1mm of key travel. You can see you can type pretty comfortably on it. So it's suitable for some serious keying in. There aren't any charging ports around the keyboard itself, which probably contributes to the slim profile, and the keyboard latches in this 3-prong dock connector here on the tablet itself, juicing up from the slate when it serves as display cover. There's this on-off slider at the top along with LED indicators for charging status. The other input method Sony provides with the Top 11 is a metal active pen stylus right here, powered by a small 4A battery. It doesn't have a silo to become integral part of the tablet, but rather a clip-on holder here, which can be a bit flimsy, so you have to keep it in mind always. Sony's responsive digitizer allows you to draw on the display clip notes from websites including, also pics and annotate, or straight out you can draw on the display with these dedicated apps here, like the Note Anytime. The 11.6 inches triluminous LCD display of Sony is with the pretty 1920 by 1080 pixels of resolution, returning 190 pixels per inch. Granted, there are tablets with much higher pixel density out there, but for most every need, 1080p is more than enough on such a screen size. The panel sports flashy, somewhat oversaturated colors, especially when running media, and deep enough black levels for an LCD screen, which make video playback a joy. Brightness levels are pretty high for a tablet, and screen reflections are kept in check, so when you need to take it outside, the Vaio Top 11 won't disappoint. Viewing angles are also great with barely a shift, as you can see, in brightness and contrast, even in extreme angles. High resolution tablets like the Vaio Top 11 are worth it for the screen alone, especially if you're coming from a crappy laptop HD display of yesteryear, where a movie can be watched by only one person, for example, as the slightest screen tilt deteriorates the picture badly, unlike here. Sony Vaio Top 11 is coming with 64-bit Windows 8 or 8 Pro, meaning you can run any legacy Windows program on it and hook up any peripheral your heart desires to the fast USB 3.0 port. The desktop app here isn't a speed king, though we attribute the general response sluggishness to the basic Pentium Haswell in our unit here, but there are also Core i3, i5 and even i7 units promised. 4GB of RAM we have in all of the versions, alongside 128, 256 and 512GB of flash storage. Sony has laden the touch-friendly modern UI with a couple of apps of its own on the home screen, such as Album, Music and Video Creator, which take care of your media viewing and editing needs, and Social Life, which serves as a social networking and RSS hub. In addition, you get Note Anytime we showed you, which makes good use of the supplied stylus for jotting down notes. Sony placed an 8MP Exmor RS sensor on the back of the Vaio Top 11 and an 1MP Exmor R front-facing camera capable of HD footage, which comes with Duo Array Mix for better Skype video chat sessions. The pictures come with enough detail for the resolution and realistic colors, but the frames often get underexposed, making them much darker than reality. Indoor, the photos are fairly usable and the lighting is enough, but noise quickly starts to creep up otherwise. Vaio Top 11 is one of the most involved instances of the new device breed that became possible with Microsoft's touch-friendly Windows 8 coupled with the frugal Haswell processor family of Intel. It is incredibly thin and light for an 11-inch Windows slate and still manages to pack a punch, giving you access to legacy programs and a million of peripherals. Moreover, Sony supplied the tablet with an excellent 1080p display and added more value with two additional input methods, like this here slim magnetic keyboard cover and the active pen stylus, without adding bulk in the process. Such a compact footprint, however, comes with a major trade-off in battery life, which is much less than what we're used to with a Haswell-based machine. If you aren't bothered by the 5-hour endurance and can afford to splurge a bit more for a better performing Tab 11 with the Core i5. Sony Vaio Tab 11 comes as one of the best Windows tablets of the season. Microsoft Surface Pro 2 is a direct competitor here, and its 128GB version with a keyboard cover is about the same price as a Core i5 Tab 11. Sony's tablet has a larger screen though, and is much thinner and lighter than Microsoft's Slate, whose thicker chassis, however, will offer you almost twice the battery life. If you aren't firm on the whole keyboard screen part separation, you can look at the Sony Vaio Duo 11 slider with 1080p display. It is much heavier than the Tab 11 and even the Surface, but at least you can prop it to watch movies on the plane without fatigue, for example. Alternatively, if you don't need legacy Windows programs and aren't going to use any wacky peripherals that need Windows drivers, you can always get the feathery iPad Air or a slim Android tablet like the Sony Xperia Tablet Z, for example, and they will be half the Tab 11 price, though with much less storage capacity. This was a video review of the Sony Vaio Tab 11 from Phone Arena. For more information about this and other tablets, you can visit us at phonearena.com. Thanks for watching.